Good day everyone. In this video I'll be ranking all the playables from the Roblox dinosaur survival game Prehistoria, mostly based on factors such as viability, strength in combat and how fun to play it is. While I'm ranking, I'll also be proposing ways to balance each playable if it needs to be. During those segments there will be a confidence counter in the corner going from 1 to 5, signaling how confident I am in this suggestion. If you didn't know, Prehistoria is a developing dinosaur survival game available on Roblox for free. It's currently in its beta stage, yet it has already garnered a pretty large community. It's being actively developed by a single developer called Soulsplosion. The game aims to bring a well-optimized experience to people with low-end devices. But let's not drag the word any longer and begin. The first dinosaur in E tier is the brand new Tenontosaurus. Tenontosaurus is a brawler-ish mid-tier ornithopod. I don't care what others think, this animal is not good. Despite its status as an ornithopod, it does not have the endurance ability. The secondary attack locks it in place, and the primary attack is way too weak. If you look at its stats, it starts to look a lot like a worse version of Gentro. Same health, same speed, but Tenonto has a lot less bleed damage and slightly slower swimming speed. How would I fix it? I'd personally give the tail attack some knockback once it's implemented. I'd also make it so that it can move during the secondary attack animation while crouching, because its crouch animation is bipedal and the secondary attack is a claw attack, so you know, logic. And finally, I'd also give it the endurance ability. Next up in low D tier is Camptosaurus. Camptosaurus is the game's signature runner dinosaur. It used to be one of the best playables, but after the introduction of Deinonychus, it fell off. Deinonychus is simply better in everything. It's faster, it has more stamina, it does bleed damage, it jumps higher, etc. The only edge Campto has over Deinonychus is the endurance ability, which basically negates bleed damage. Still, Campto is still good at evading most threats apart from Deinon, so it avoids getting an E tier. How would I fix it? In my opinion, Camptosaurus should get a stamina buff so it can outlast Deinonychus, as well as maybe a secondary attack to maybe make it somewhat useful in PvP. Next up in high D tier is Machaeroceratops. Machaeroceratops is a mid-tier tank and my personal favorite dinosaur in the game. I think it's pretty good at just generally surviving, but when you want to fight people, it's kind of miserable. The water escape route doesn't work very well either, because an Allosaurus can easily deal a lot of damage to you before you can escape. How would I fix it? I'd increase its swim speed to about 16 or 18, and maybe increase its launch speed by a little bit as well. The charge ability will probably help in the future. Next up in C tier is Utahraptor. Utahraptor is a slightly speedy, slightly bouncy, mid-tier predator. I mean, it's not bad, it's perfectly viable and fun to play. It's just that Deinonychus does everything better. Utahraptor used to be the bouncy, quick carnivore, but now Deinonychus is. The only edge Utahraptor has right now is its endurance, which Soulsplosion I think forgot to remove. The bounce ability won't save it either, because it's stated in the Trello that Deinonychus will be the more effective bouncer. How would I fix it? I'd increase its health to 1100 because logically Utahraptor shouldn't have less health than Cantrosaurus, but other than that I have no idea. Next up in B tier is Megalosaurus. Megalosaurus is a median, balanced, jack of all trades but master of none type, mid-tier predator. Not much to say here, it's a solid playable, though nowadays they are not nearly as numerous as they used to be. Nothing to fix here. Next up in high B tier is Cantrosaurus. Cantro is supposed to be a defensive runner bleeder glass cannon with low health, but over time it has become overtuned due to a lot of misinterpreted balance suggestions and completely lost its former niche. It shouldn't have this much health. Its new tail sweep secondary attack is strong, but it stops the Cantro from moving, which is kind of a problem if you consider that it's supposed to bleed the enemy out while running from it. It is also a very skill based and hard to master combat style, if that makes sense. How would I fix it? First off, I'd decrease its health back to the original 900. Then I'd make it able to move during the secondary tail sweep attack, and maybe it could get some sort of passive bleed too if moving during the secondary attack is not enough of a trade-off. Basically what that means is that if it gets hit on the tail or on the body, it deals a little bleed damage to the opponent who hit the Cantro. Next up in A tier is Baryonyx. Baryonyx is a slow, semi-aquatic, high mid-tier predator. It was the very first diving creature added to the game and currently it's the only one. Baryonyx's balancing has been disputed a lot. Many said it's overpowered and many said that it's fodder. And I think it's just fine. Its sheer power is balanced by its sluggishness on land, which is then compensated by its diving gimmick. The only problem with it is the large amount of berry players. It's the same problem Megalo has suffered from before. I don't think there's anything to fix right now. Maybe nerf its health and damage and buff its speed in the future a little bit. Next up in A tier is Allosaurus. Allosaurus is supposed to be the median of tier 4. I think Allo is in a pretty good spot right now. Strong, fearsome, big predator that isn't too overpowered. It's also getting a remodel and a restat sometime in the future, which will make it a bit smaller and a bit less powerful, so I don't think there's anything to fix here either. Next up in high A tier is Parasaurolophus. Parasaurolophus is a high mid-tier fast tank herbivore which can both face tank and chase its opponent. By this description alone you can tell it's an absolute monster. It's scarily fast for its size and deals massive raw damage, though no bleed damage. Its secondary attack, the Stomp, deals 200 damage on an area of effect with little to no wind-up. So yeah, it's strong. But it's got one big weak point, its boot hind area. Para has a poor turn radius and no hind defenses, which leaves its hind area vulnerable. Giving it a stomp instead of a kick like it was originally planned to was a good idea in my opinion. Parasaurolophus also has the highest hitbox out of all playables, which makes it able to walk through shallow bodies of water. How would I fix it? Well, the only thing I'd change on this dino for now is a longer wind-up for the stomp attack. Otherwise, its strength is balanced by its skill requirement well enough in my opinion. Next up in high A tier is Styracosaurus. I just realized I put all tier 4 dinos in A tier. Uh, Styracosaurus is a slow, high mid-tier tank herbivore with a lot of health points. It's a very strong creature, its primary attack deals a ton of damage and has a ridiculously fast cooldown. While it may be competent in PvP, it can be miserable to play due to its slow movement speed on land and its even slower movement speed in water, which is pretty much the only reason I put it in high A tier instead of S tier. How would I fix it? Well, in this case I don't need to, because it's getting a remodel and a complete reset in the future, just like Allosaurus will. And finally, topping off the list in S tier is the small, annoying floor cruiser called Deinonychus. Deinonychus was a bug in the Matrix. I think it says enough if I say that it invalidated 2 entire playables. It's faster and more endurant than Camptosaurus, and it jumps higher than Utahraptor does, so why even play those two? On top of that, it has an annoyingly small hitbox, its own exclusive hiding holes, relatively high bleed, and if they have a pack, you're done for. And in the future, it will only get worse because it will be the better pouncer out of the 2 raptors. They also took over like Baryonyx and Megalosaurus did, but in this case it's even worse due to how strong Deinonychus is. It also makes efficient mixed packs with Allosaurus and especially Baryonyx. Their only real weak point is water. So, in conclusion, they're annoying pieces of overpowered crap. How would I fix it? In short, I'd give it more weak points. I'd increase its stamina to make it more of a short bursts of speed kind of playable. And because there's no reason for it to outlast Camptosaurus. I'd also decrease its health a bit. And that concludes the tier list. Sorry if I sounded a bit harsh at parts. I do not intend to degrade Soulsplosion's work at all. They are doing a great job at developing the game, and I wish them the best of luck for further development. Also keep in mind that I'm not a professional game designer, so my balanced suggestions might not be the best. Please tell me your thoughts and opinions in the form of civilized comments. Goodbye.